when September 11th happened, the very next day, we're gathered around and we're looking at a map and everyone's going, where is Afghanistan, right? And they go, here's Afghanistan. And guess what? A few weeks later, we were in Afghanistan. You know, I remember being in Kandahar airfield, and it was as if I landed on the moon. You know, I'm 20 years old, I'm a kid. And you know, there's opium poppy fields everywhere. You know, this local warlord essentially was providing security for us outside of the area. He was driving a Land Rover. You know, everyone else has donkeys, and he's in a Land Rover. And then you've got these just the local militia there as well. It was really as if I was in another planet.
I was on the USS Enterprise on 9/11, and we had just finished dinner when I watched the second plane hit from my room, the World Trade Center. We were in the Arabian Sea at the time, steaming south, and as soon as the second plane hit, we turned the ship around. We were the first carrier on station after 9/11, and we were the first nighttime carrier to deliver strikes into Afghanistan in November of that year. My first strike was on Tora Bora, flying an F-14 Tomcat, and that was before we knew what Tora Bora was, in the pursuit of Osama bin Laden. So we didn't even know what it was at the time, and we didn't know who we were going after. But we went to Tora Bora, the mountain range, and the hideout where Osama bin Laden was supposedly hiding, and that was my first venture into combat.
Veterans, Gold Star families, victims of 9/11, their sacrifices were not in vain. A whole generation of Americans have grown up not worried about planes flying into buildings, not worried about suicide bombers on school buses. They've grown up in safety.
We've invested so much into that country over the last 20 years, and those service members, I thank them for what they've done. Their sacrifice was not in vain. It wasn't, okay? It kept this country safe for 20 years.
Since the fall of Afghanistan, I've probably heard from more veterans and current service members talking about those that they served with, carrying a weight on their shoulders that I hadn't seen them carry in years. The veterans that are calling into my official office and saying, this is an interpreter that I worked with. Here's the photograph of us working together. Here's the emails that we exchanged with one another. Here's the commitments that I made when I was the first sergeant, or I was the commander, or I was the lieutenant, or whatever their position was, to make sure that for their service and the way that they stood shoulder to shoulder with Americans to protect our nation, to fight with us against those that attacked us, that we would make sure that their family was protected as well. It's important for everybody to realize just how affected our service members are right now by those commitments that they made to those that they stood alongside. The weight that they're carrying on their shoulders is something that I can only compare to the weight that they carry for those that wear the flag on their shoulder, that they serve alongside. It's an extremely heavy burden, and it's something that people need to see about what our veterans, many of our veterans, are going through in this moment.